What's up? I'm back. Today I'll be showing you how to actually make the primitive string snares, well, spring snares, but using twine. Anyways, what you're gonna need is twine, a knife. You don't necessarily need a saw, but I do like using one just to make the notches easier. And then sticks, obviously. The first piece you're going to need is a short little stick, and that's going to be what you attach to the actual rope. First, what you need to do is with the knife, what I do is you need a notch that's going all the way around so you can tie in the line. I believe it's called like beaver cutting or something like that. There we go. So it goes all the way around. Next, what you're going to want to do with the same piece is make a cut with a saw about, I'd say probably around there, and another one, and it only goes in about halfway, maybe not even. Probably another one right around here. So you can see those two little green spots. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so take the saw. So there's the first cut. It's almost halfway through. And then you make another one right where I had the other mark. Same depth. So now we got the two cuts in. This one needs to be a little bit deeper, but you get the gist. Now that I've got the cuts a little deeper, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a knife. So there's each cut. You're gonna start middle of them, kind of, and then you're gonna push down towards one, down on like a pretty deep angle, or just shave it down until you get down to the bottom. Careful, because the knife, especially if you're using it for carving or whittling, it's going to be a sharp knife and you could lose a finger pretty easily, or cut a tendon or something. I find it helps if you cut right on the edge, because then you have the edge farther down than all the other parts, which makes a point, and that point is easy to cut. And you can do that all the way along, because the point will keep forming as you cut deeper in one spot and it's not as deep in the other. So then you're going to want to do that. So now you kind of have a notch like that, but then you're going to want to go towards this one this way, so then you have it completely square, like or half a rectangle, or an opened rectangle. So there, now that I've hollowed it out, that's what it looks like. I want to make that one a little deeper right there. Perfect. That's what it looks like. While I was working on this, I actually heard, and I have a snare set up behind our fence in the small part of the woods right there. I actually heard a squirrel peeping, because I have it baited as well and it's set. I heard a squirrel peeping. I think it was on the ground, but like right near it or something, like peeping, because there's a bunch of walnuts on the ground there. And the snare is not set off, but the squirrels, he's like this. I think I just heard him, I think. But he's there, so I might get him. Never know. Sort of skipped ahead in the step. The next thing you're gonna need is you're gonna want to stick. Well, this is how long the first stick was, so that gives you a range. You're gonna want to do the same sort of notch style in this one and make it a spike, because this is the piece that's going in the ground. So that's how it's going to be. It's going to be kind of like that. Oh, dropped it. Next thing you want to do is you want to get a decently short piece of twine. This one might be too short, but you're going to want to take it and go like that and make it kind of like a loop, but then you're going to tie it in a knot. So this is a little bit bigger. I've done it better in the past, but it's all good. So now you got a little loop, and you're going to take the other end and you're going to put it through the loop, and now you've got a noose. So yeah, this rope, or this twine, was I didn't get a long enough piece, but I'll just get a new one. But that's basically what you're gonna do. You're gonna make a noose kind of with twine. So the next step in this process is getting you can use a stick that's bendy, that isn't going to crease and like stay bent. You want it to fling back up. But so this is like what I used in the first snare video I posted where I set it. This is just a driveway post for the winter so the plow knows where to go. And you want a string. This string is probably too short, but you want a string attached to the end. It's decently long, because this is going to go in the ground. This is going to be what the spring. This is going to be kind of like a spring, which when they get caught in it, it's going to fling them up and hang them, essentially. Now what you're going to want to do is, see, I have this piece is the part that's going to stick in the ground. So I have our notched setting piece, or whatever you want to call it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make the noose like the correct size, which is depending on, like, because I'm going for squirrels, and if you're going for rabbits, you're going to want it a little bit bigger. So rabbits, that's probably good. Squirrels, that's good enough, I guess. You can really catch it either, but it's just, I feel like it's a little easier. Make it have a better chance of getting a squirrel if you get a small hole. But there's a better chance of going through if it's a big hole. So let's test that out. It's gonna be like this. The actual noose will be right here. So you need to measure how much twine you're gonna need to have a big enough noose, and for how close to the ground. So you want it at least like 2 fingers or a finger and a half off the ground. Now I'm back here again, and the deck looks like it's on a slant, but it doesn't matter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our piece, I'm going to tie the twine with the noose onto our little set stick, our trigger stick is what I'm going to call it. There you go, trigger stick. Tie it on, make sure it's not coming off. That it's tied on, and you cut your tag end if you have one that's this long. So that's how much it's going to hang down. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your spring stick, it's acting as a spring, you take the trigger stick, you're going to tie it to the same spot that you tied the noose to. So there you go. Now you have both the noose line and the spring line all tied onto this. There's too much of a tag end, but it doesn't matter. So now what you're going to want to do is stab the spring stick into the ground. It bends when you pull the trigger stick down, and you want to hook the notch of the trigger stick onto your spike, and then you'd have the couple other sticks propping up the noose. And so what happens is when a squirrel or a rabbit or whatever walks through it, it pulls that out, and then that lifts, the spring lifts up the trigger stick, pulls it up, and the noose cinches around the squirrel and on my finger. So now I'm out in the spot where I'm going to set it. Here's the spike right here. You're just going to want to take something and just like now you add the spring stick drove into the ground. Now what you're going to want to do is get 1 to 2 small sticks that you're going to stick into the ground to prop the noose up and keep it open. Otherwise, it'll slip down by itself. So there, snare is propped open. And so the squirrel comes along, goes through, pulls it out, cinches, and we got him. A survival situation that is dinner. Although it may not be the heartiest meal, it'll give you a little bit of fat and protein. Not very much. Now I'm going to take you over. Let's see the snare we just set. Right there. Go get bait for that. So I get up close. I'll get bait for that later, but this is the snare. It's yesterday, so I used an actual stick. It's a different kind. This one's where the stick goes across and the snare sits in the middle. This hole and the hole underneath that were not there, so I have some walnuts around this one. But if you see, there's the two notches in the wood like that. So this one's pretty easy to make and pretty good too. There's the two notches in the wood and those two spikes, and there's the string line again tied to the center of that stick and this as well. Pop the noose up into the stick. Anyways, that's how it works. That's how you make a simple primitive spring snare using string instead of snare wire. So when I went inside to get some bait, I decided maybe I should, because I have walnuts at that one, maybe I should get peanuts, which are all pre-cracked, and put some peanuts down. That's the snare. I don't know if I'm upside down right now, but anyways, thanks for watching the video. See you in the next one.